Evening all. I'm going to read a book to you today. I'm going to start a new series. I'm really looking for Alaska because that's one of my all-time fave books, and I love this book so much. It's by John Green. You might have heard of him. Linked to his channel in the doobly-doo. He does Vlogbrothers. He writes books also. He wrote Looking for Alaska, Paper Towns, Abundance of Catherines and Fault in Our Stars, and you will cry on Fault in Our Stars. I can promise you that, my friends. So, without further ado, Looking for Alaska. The week before I left my family in Florida and the rest of my minor life to go to a boarding school in Alabama, my mother insisted on throwing a going-away party. To say I had low expectations would underestimate the matter dramatically. Although I was more or less forced to invite my school friends, i.e. the ragtag bunch of drama people and the English geeks that I sat with, by my social necessity in the carnivorous cafeteria of my public school. I knew they wouldn't come. Still, my mother persevered, awash with the delusion that I had kept my popularity secret from her for all these years. She cooked a small mountain of artichoke dip and festooned the living room with green and yellow streamers, the colours of my new school. She brought 24 champagne poppers and placed them around the edge of the coffee table. When that final Friday came and my packing was mostly done, she and my dad sat with me in the living room couch at 4:56, patiently awaiting the arrival of the goodbye to Miles cavalry. Said cavalry consisted of two people, Marie Lawson, a tiny blonde with rectangular glasses, and her chunky but not particularly charitable boyfriend, Will. "Hey, Miles," Marie said as she sat down. "Hey," I said. "How was your summer?" Will asked. "Okay. Yours?" "Good. We did Jesus Christ Superstar. I helped with set and Marie did lights," Will said. "That's cool," I nodded knowingly. And that about exhausted all of our conversational topics. I might have asked the question about Jesus Christ Superstar, except I didn't know what it was, and 2, I didn't care to learn, and 3, I never really excelled at small talk. My mum, however, managed to small talk for hours, so she extended the awkwardness by asking them about their rehearsal schedule, how the show had gone, or whether or not it was a success. "Well, it was, I guess," Marie said. "A lot of people came, I guess." Marie was the sort of person to guess a lot. Finally, Will said, "Well, we just dropped in to say our goodbyes. I've got to get Marie home by 6. Have fun at boarding school, Miles." "Thanks," I answered, relieved. The only thing worse than having a party that no one attends is having a party that's only attended by 2 vastly, deeply uninteresting people. They left, and I sat with my parents and stared at the blank TV and wanted to turn it on, but I knew I shouldn't. I could feel them both looking at me, waiting for me to burst into tears or something, as if I hadn't known all along that it was going to go precisely like this. But I had known. I could feel their pity as they scooped the artichoke dip with chips and intended my imaginary friends. But they needed pity more than I did. I wasn't disappointed. My expectations had been met. "Is this why you wanted to leave, Miles?" Mum asked. I mulled it over for a moment, careful not to look her in the eye. No?" I said. "Well, why then?" she asked. This was not the first time she had posed the question. Mum was not particularly keen on letting me go to boarding school, and had not made a secret of it. "Because of me?" my dad said. He had attended Culver Creek, the same boarding school which I was headed. As had both of his brothers and all of their kids. I think he liked the idea of me following in his footsteps. My uncles had told me stories about how famous my dad had been around campus for having simultaneously raised hell and aced all of his classes. That sounded like a better life than the one I had in Florida, but no, it wasn't because of my dad. Not exactly. Hold on, I said, and went to my dad's study and found his biography on Francois Rebels. I like reading biographies of writers, even if, in the case of Monsieur Rebels, I had never actually read any of their writings. I flipped to the back and found a highlighted quote. "Never use highlighters in my books," my dad often told me, but how else was I supposed to find what I'm looking for? "So this guy," I said, standing in the doorway of my living room, "Francois Rebels. He was a poet, and his last words were, 'I go to seek the great perhaps.' That's where I'm going, so that I don't have to wait until I die to start seeking the great perhaps." That quieted them. Pardon me. I was after a great perhaps, and they knew as well as I did that I was not going to find it in the likes of Will and Marie. I sat back down on the couch between my mum and dad. My dad put his arm around me and we stayed quiet like that, together, on the couch, for a long time, until it seemed okay to turn on the TV. We had artichoke dip for dinner and watched the History Channel. As going away parties go, it could have been worse. That's the first bit. So the next video is going to be significantly longer. There's about 19 to 20 pages in the next section. But I will probably do this maybe once a week. I'll try, but no promises. So yeah, looking for Alaska. You can sit and listen to this, but if you want to read it yourself, you can buy it in most bookstores. I'm not being paid for this, just as a thing, to put it out there, because I can assume how that would be considered. Anyway, see you later, guys.